What is up, guys, and welcome back to the video. And today we have 10 things you need to know before watching Star Wars Rogue One. And before we start the video, don't forget, if you enjoy, leave a like and subscribe because that really helps us. Let's get straight onto the video with number 10. It's not like any other Star Wars film. When this movie comes out on December 16th, be prepared to watch something you've never seen before. What makes this film so different is that it will be the first Star Wars feature film that will not revolve around the Skywalker family. As much as fans love the original characters, it will be interesting to meet a completely new cast. Felicity Jones will be playing Jyn Erso, a woman who usually works by herself, but finds a higher purpose when she decides to take on a desperate mission for the Rebel Alliance. Diego Luna was casted as Cassian Andor, an accomplished Rebel Alliance intelligence officer who has the ability to complete his mission with minimum resources. Rogue One is simply labeled as a Star Wars story, and the reason for that is because it is not a part of the main series. It is considered a spin-off, just like the Han Solo movie that is scheduled to be released in 2018. Number 9. The plot of Rogue One. Before you watch the movie in theaters, it's important that you know what it's about. The film revolves around Jyn Erso, a troubled woman who was separated from her parents when she was only 15 years old. Her life changes the moment the Rebel Alliance recruits her to work with the team. Jyn Erso and Captain Cassian Andor's mission is to steal the design schematics of the Empire's new superweapon, the Death Star. Gareth Edwards, the director of the movie, has described the film as a grounded war-based movie, one in which normal people have to come together to fight the Empire instead of relying on the Jedi or the Force. The reason why this event in the Star Wars timeline is very special is because it brings together ordinary people who choose to do extraordinary things. Also, the plot is very important because it leads into A New Hope, which is a Star Wars movie that heavily features the Death Star. Number 8, it will have a dark tone. After the first trailer came out, many fans were happy with the darker tone of Rogue One, but others thought it was way too dark. The reason why some fans were a little disappointed when they heard it was going to have a dark tone is because they were expecting the movie to have some humor in it. It is almost impossible to give Rogue One a light tone since it's a war movie. People who worked on the film compare it to the Vietnam War drama Hamburger Hill, which is very brutal. Number 7, it will probably connect with Star Wars Rebels. One major similarity between Rogue One, a Star Wars story, and the animated TV series Star Wars Rebels is that they both take place between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. Another similarity is that they both focus on the missions of the Rebel Alliance. Is there a possibility that these two stories will intertwine at some point? Simon Kinberg, the executive producer of Star Wars Rebels, hinted that the series somehow could connect to the upcoming movies in the near future. Also, David Filoni said that there will be some undisclosed aspects of Rebels and Rogue One that will influence each other. Some people are hoping to see a few characters from Rogue One in the third season of Rebels, or maybe someone in Rogue One might briefly mention a character from Rebels. Number 6, Darth Vader's return. If you were disappointed because Darth Vader did not make an appearance in The Force Awakens, then don't worry because he will definitely be in Rogue One. At first, some fans thought that he was only going to appear in one scene, but now it seems like his role will be bigger than we thought. Darth Vader playing a part in the movie makes perfect sense because the film takes place during the Empire's heyday, where they were increasing their stranglehold on the galaxy, and he was a key player in that expansion and tyranny. Although he will definitely not be a main villain of Rogue One, it will be interesting to see the role he plays in the movie. One way he could fit into the plot is sending a group of bounty hunters to go after the stolen blueprints. Number 5, the director of Rogue One. Instead of choosing a director that most people are familiar with, Gareth Edwards was chosen to direct this movie. So far, he has only directed 2 films. His first film, 2010's micro-budget Monsters, is very unique and it shows how the filmmaker handled all the visual effects himself. The movie wasn't exactly a blockbuster hit, but people did notice that he was very talented, so they allowed him to direct the 2014 Godzilla film. He brought the King of the Monsters back to the Metroplex, and it was a success. Directing these 2 movies definitely shows that he has skills needed to make Rogue One a very good movie. Edwards is good at telling a character-driven story that has good action scenes. Number 4, this isn't the first time you've seen Rogue Squadron in action. If you watched The Empire Strikes Back, then that means you're already ahead of everyone else because you have already seen Rogue One and Rogue Squadron in action. You probably won't remember it if you watched the movie a long time ago because it was only in the film for a short period of time. The group was introduced into canon flying around in snow speeders during the Battle of Hoth in the film's opening sequence. You should also know that there is an augmented version of the Rogues lineup because of the specialty vehicles being used. Number 3, Rogue One Prequel Novel. If you're really interested in the movie, then you should make sure that you read the book. The book is dedicated to exploring the parents of Rogue One's main character, Jyn Erso. Her father is Galen, and he is a genius scientist who is known for being socially awkward. He was born in a poor neighborhood on the planet Grange. Galen is not a fan of getting involved in politics and does not like to do research on weapons. So during the Clone Wars, he moves and works for a boring company on another planet. His wife Lyra Erso is much more down to earth. She is one of those people who worships the Force without being a Jedi. The timeline of the book can be very confusing at times, but it seems like Jyn is born a few years before Revenge of the Sith and the Annihilation of the Jedi. Jyn is mostly a background character in the book. Number 2, the villain of Rogue One. As most people know, the antagonist in a movie plays an important role because they can determine if the film is good or bad. The main villain of Rogue One is Orson Krennic. He is probably one of the most truly evil characters Star Wars has ever seen. The book Rogue One, Catalyst, gives people a deeper look at who he is and what he stands for. The only person Orson cares about is himself, and he does whatever it takes to advance his status in the Galactic Republic turned Empire. He spent so much time on completing the Death Star because he was certain that it was going to elevate him in the Empire. His plan ended up failing because of his arrogance, and he was embarrassed. He may not have the Force or an entire army of stormtroopers, but he is still a very interesting villain. Number 1, many reshoots. Almost every Star Wars fan wants this movie to be perfect, but you should probably make sure that you don't have high expectations. Apparently, as much as 40% of the film has been redone, and the cast and crew worked 6 days a week for 8 weeks on 32 recreated sets. A reliable source of Star Wars Productions news said that when he asked a few crew members what was being reshot, they laughed and said everything. There were rumors that Disney executives have forced the changes to make this movie much more family friendly, but that was actually confirmed to be false. Even though this seems like very bad news, it can be looked at in a good way. Taking their time to reshoot the movie shows that the studios really do care about the film and they want to make sure it is the best it can be. As always, thanks for watching the video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like and subscribe for more. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at Valenplana. I'll see you all later.